Today in the Soap Thing Project, I am going to give you my thoughts on Chanel Antaeus pour Homme from 1981. Are you man enough? We're going to find out, coming up next. Alright, let's start with the presentation for this bad boy. This is the box for Chanel Antaeus pour Homme. It is a black and maroon color with white lettering. On the front it says Antaeus pour Homme, Chanel Paris. Eau de toilette concentration, 100 ml. On the top you just have the Chanel logo. Nothing on either side of the box. On the back you have made in France with the ingredients. And then on the bottom you have your barcode and your batch code, which is stamped right there. Mine is 8601. This is a 1981 original release. Mine is a 2023 bottle, which is exactly when I bought it. In fact, according to the batch code, it was made only a couple of months before I picked it up. It's a classy, old school looking box. I love this use of red and black and white. It's just beautiful. It's kind of a time capsule for the 1980s as far as style and color. Before we get into the notes of this fragrance, let's talk about availability. Chanel likes to keep their supply chain cards very close to their chest, metaphorically speaking, so I would not plan on seeing this at a discounter such as Fragrance X, Fragrance Net, places like that. Chanel's just don't tend to turn up there. So in America, I have only seen this online. It's about $130 US on Chanel's website. This is still being produced. I have never seen it in a brick and mortar store in America. Now, I haven't been to very large cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver, places like that where they have massive Sephoras that would probably have scents you didn't even know existed. You might find it there, but for the most part, I think in the US, you're gonna have to get this online. I did find mine off the shelf in a Sephora in London. So in Europe, it does seem like you can bump into this in person fairly easily, so do keep that in mind. This bottle would be a great bottle for the cops. This thing is a dust magnet, a fingerprint magnet, a moisture magnet. It's really bad. But it is a wonderful, beautiful piano black presentation from the bottle. Just this wonderful reflective gloss black with white lettering. And on the front we have Chanel Antaeus pour Homme Eau de Toilette. On the bottom of the bottle you have your size and concentration. And on the back right down here is the batch code for the fragrance. We do have a snap cap, so this is not magnetic, it just snaps into place. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it because the atomizer on this is a beast mode. Oh my god, it's wonderful. Okay, let's talk about the scent notes for Chanel Antaeus pour Homme. In the opening, we have clary sage, coriander, myrrh, bergamot, lemon, and lime. In the mid, we have thyme, basil, jasmine, and rose. In the dry down, you have castoreum, labdanum, oak moss, and patchouli. Let's talk about the evolution of this fragrance after you spray it on. So this starts off with a very interesting mingling of aromatic and floral notes. I get a lot of clary sage and basil and thyme, jasmine and rose. It's a really aromatic, dark floral scent. It's a wonderful opening. What's interesting is what you don't find. You don't find a lot of bergamot, lemon, or lime. I have to imagine it has got to be there because I just think that otherwise it would be a runaway aromatic experience, and I do get just the tiniest bits of lemon and lime out of the opening of the fragrance, but they don't last very long. I think the citrus notes are gone pretty quickly. As you come out of the opening and you go into the mid, that's when you get the castoreum. For those of you who don't know what castoreum is, it is a concentrated liquid that comes from the castor sacs of adult beavers. Filthy little stinkers they are, but their scent is incredible. Seriously though, what is castoreum supposed to smell like? It is meant to be projected as a bit of a dirty leather type of scent. Kind of a Russian leather sort of vibe is what you're supposed to get off of it. So as this goes from the opening into the mid, where this is how it stays for the rest of the fragrance, from the mid through to the dry down, you lose those aromatic notes, at least most of them, and it goes from being an aromatic floral fragrance to a bit of a floral dirty leather fragrance. It gets really leathery and oak mossy, and you start getting this patchouli note that comes into it. And this is fairly early in the fragrance. I would say within the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're going to start getting castoreum and oak moss, and those aromatic notes are going to sort of take a back seat for you. At least for me, this is how it goes. And then through the life of the fragrance, until it becomes a skin scent that you practically can't smell anymore, it's a floral, leathery, oak mossy, kind of rough patchouli sort of scent, but rough and elegant at the same time, with those dirty leather notes and those really wonderful dark floral notes. So you're going to smell like a heathen, but you're going to do so eloquently. Alright, let's talk about the horsepower for this thing. It's actually not that bad, considering it's probably been reformulated to death. I guarantee you this used to be way more powerful than it currently is. But I will go ahead and put it in the Pontiac Firebird category of fragrances. Are there better rides out there? Yes. Are you going to have a hell of a lot of fun with this thing? Oh yes. Longevity, in my 3 official days of testing, I got 2 7s and an 8. So it could be better considering the type of fragrance that it is. I mean, I guess by citrus or lightweight fragrance standards, that's actually very good. But by a dark, leathery, aromatic scent, you would expect a lot more out of something like this. It does smell a bit thin, like it used to be a lot more dense and have a lot more depth than it does now. I'm not going to say it's an empty fragrance, but it definitely seems like a little bit of a shell of what it used to be. It's really good though. Let's be real. 7 to 8 hours is plenty. That is a full work day for most people. Projection is a little under arm's length for most of the life of the fragrance. I'd say for about half of the life of the fragrance, people can smell you who walk by you, no problem at all. I would say for the second half of the fragrance, people are going to need to be a little up in your business in order to smell it, but it's definitely still there. Let's talk about who can wear this and where you would wear it. This is definitely, without a doubt, a manly fragrance. If a woman tried to pull this off, she would have to be crazy. It is, without a doubt, an intensely masculine fragrance, and that's where I think it needs to stay. I would say you want to be careful with how much you spray this. 3, 4, 5 sprays max, because if you overspray this thing, you might find yourself being the subject of an all-points bulletin. And I swear to God, if you fire hose this thing, Skynet itself will send the Terminator back through time to kill you.
Fuck you, asshole.
This is a fragrance that I think, oddly enough, would work very well in a formal setting. So if you had a very nice suit or a tuxedo and you had some confidence about you, you could pull this off no problem at all. Otherwise, I'd say you'd want to wear fairly dark clothes and maybe a leather jacket even. This is a dark fragrance, and so your wardrobe should probably reflect as much. Compliment factor, it is worth noting that compliments are more about your composure and less about the actual scent character of the fragrance. Having said that, I have had a lot of comments. I wouldn't say they were compliments. I've had people come up to me and be like, "What are you wearing?" Like they've never smelled such a thing before. I don't think a lot of people are still wearing this. Certainly not in a setting where they're like at work or in crowded areas. I can't imagine this is being worn that often. And so in a world where everybody's wearing Bleu de Chanel and La Nuit de l'Homme and things like that, this fragrance is going to stand out for better or for worse. I will say that this is a very cold weather or winter centric scent. If you try to pull this off on a hot day in broad daylight, people are going to come after you with their torches and pitchforks. Like, do not do that. So I think this is a fairly narrow fragrance as far as when you can wear it and why you would wear it. So in closing, I would say that this is a fragrance that very much arouses curiosity more than anything else. This is not something you'd want to wear on a date night or to a club or something like that unless you are an older gentleman who can really pull this off. And even then, I think you're going to get less of the reaction of, oh my god, you smell good, and more of a reaction of, ooh, what is that? I haven't smelled something like that in a long time, or haven't smelled it before at all. That is Chanel Antaeus Pour Homme for you. That will definitely arouse the curiosity of those around you. Are you man enough? I guess we'll have to find out. That's the video for today. That is Chanel Antaeus Pour Homme. Questions, comments, put them in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, until next time, this is Soap Thing telling you, spray like you mean it. Thanks for watching.